Hey, I've got my local con tomorrow, so I'm taking a little break from this game. Probably need to play some Marvel today, so I'm ready. But I wanted to talk about what makes a beat 'em up good. We have so many people think that they're just they're such easy games to make. I think this game is proof that it's not quite that simple. This game gets a lot of things right. I do have some complaints with it, mainly the length of the runs. I don't know, some of the enemies. But I think it nails a lot of things. The impact of the hits, the attacks, the pacing itself is great. The replay value. I think this game nails a lot, so I thought I would just talk about it for a little bit while I do some practice for my normal turbo speed run. I wish I could give this chick like a karate gi or something. Always wearing nothing. I think the costume you get for hardest wears something a little more sensible. Now I have it on turbo right now, but you can tell that there's a lot of impact on the hits. I think that's a really important part of a beat 'em up, along with the responsiveness of the character. If you've ever played Sengoku 3, that is a perfect example of a beat 'em up with bad pacing. In that game, when you kill an enemy in that game, they have to stand up and get to their death animation before like the screen will progress. Now that's something that works well for like you know, a more cinematic game like a Platinum game or something. You know, that has a lot of really exaggerated animations. But in a beat 'em up where you're fighting just in general, like, way more enemies, it doesn't work too well. There's a couple things that make the pacing of this a lot better than a lot of other beat-em-ups. First thing is that the enemies die instantly. The only time they're on the screen for more than a few seconds is when they, you know, you're juggling them for the crush bonus. Which, depending on how close or far you are from one CC, can actually kind of benefit you. There's a crush bonus right there. Also, this is a no-brainer, but being able to skip the cutscenes. You don't really have to watch anything in this game, so you're always playing, you're always moving forward. It's a hell of a block string. No, I think the biggest problem this game faces is that it's not very casual friendly, and I don't mean that in terms of the difficulty. I mean that more in just like how long the game is. The game does not waste your time. Like, you can see like how fast things progress. You know, if you're playing pretty quickly, even if you're not playing pretty quickly. But with the game being an hour long on like a 1cc, I think that definitely scares some people away. It's definitely my biggest complaint with this game. But the developer has said that he's seeing the concerns, especially since this game is aimed at people who are, you know, my age, late 20s, early 30s, or even older than that. You know, the demographic does not always have that much time to play games, you know. I do, but not everyone does. He said he wants to make it a little more accessible. I already suggested to him that hopefully they have some kind of, he has like some kind of route with existing assets that's like half an hour long for like an average player. I think that would be pretty cool. Also, this game has really balanced movesets. Pretty much everything in your arsenal has at least some use. There's lots of action games from other developers that don't have that, so I think that's another part of why this is one of the greatest beat-em-ups ever made. I'm playing like shit because I'm talking. That's fine, it's just practice. I've played so many beat-em-ups from indie developers, and a lot of them have had just like a couple things wrong with them that just really deter the experience. I think this is the closest to like perfection. Obviously, I've talked about the flaws of this game numerous times, so it's not a perfect game, but I think it's pretty impressive that he nailed as much as he did. There's no like early access or open beta for this at all. If you look in the credits, he only had like 4 beta testers. Yeah, we have like early access games that the developers don't listen to the community. Now, what happens with this game is that in the endings, I'm sure if you notice in my speedruns, it alludes to there being like some true mastermind behind all the mutants' outright, you know, outrage or whatever, or their revolution. But he or she or it is not in the game, so it seems like he's alluding to a sequel or add-on content. I think it would be really cool if he does some kind of like beta program or something. I think that would be pretty awesome to have the community come in. I think this game is great considering he didn't really he didn't do what the Aztez developers did. Those guys got like pretty much everybody they could who they had access to from the character action game community to work on it. I was one of the few people that was never contacted, but it worked for that game. You know, that game still got some flaws that they hope to iron out later on once it's on consoles and they have a little more money to work with. The game unfortunately did not sell too well on PC. I think it'll be great if he's able to address some of the concerns. I do feel Gal is a little underpowered on the harder difficulties. The lack of damage that she has per hit can kind of be a problem when the enemies are more aggressive and they also have more health. The health, I'm not sure how good the pacing is with Gal on the harder difficulties. I did try hardest last night and it wasn't too enjoyable. Maybe I'd probably do it co-op via NVIDIA Game Stream or something. I do feel like that needs a little work. The game definitely, if he wants to stick to his guns and not add some kind of quick save feature, definitely needs what he's talking about, what I've suggested to him, which is a shorter route where you can play through the game in half an hour or maybe even less if you're more experienced. I think that would make it more accessible for a lot of people, because the problem with this game is that you can't credit feed it in a traditional sense. You can credit feed the game, you can continue on the last boss like a dozen times if you want to. I had to do that on my first playthrough, but you can't like revive right where you started. So I think that's going to be something that he'll need to work on if he wants this to be a more co-op friendly game. I'm sure in the next one he's probably going to have some kind of framework or something, or some kind of system, so that he can have the online play, because that's something that everybody bitches about in these games, and I seriously wonder if those people even understand like how much effort goes into making a game like this. Like, he did all the pixel art, he did like all the game design and everything. The only real help he had was he had some beta testers. Someone else did the music for him, and all the voices come from royalty-free packs. But he worked his ass off on this, and I don't really think that adding netplay would make as much of a difference as people said. I think the price of the game may be a deterrence for some people. The game does not really have the RPG elements that makes people, you know, fork out cash for Castle Crashers and stuff like that. I think River City Ransom Underground was a better sell for most people. I thought that game had a lot of problems. It's unfortunate that I can't really play it anymore because of all the drama going on. But I think that if he's able to add that shorter route, I think this game's going to be great. Maybe he can buff Gal. It seems like he doesn't want to, but I think it would be nice for the harder difficulties if she got a little help. I will talk to him about it. Maybe I'll convince him about it. But I just wanted to let people know I've played this game a lot. I've uploaded a lot of playthroughs and speedruns and stuff. You definitely appreciate if you played a lot of other beat-em-ups, especially some that have like really glaring flaws like Sengoku 3. You can see like how many things this game does right. It's not just the graphics. There's a lot of aspects to the gameplay, how the movesets are balanced, how almost everything has a use, the pacing, how much the game respects your time. There's no unskippable cutscenes in this. It's even speedrun stats here. Like, since I'm talking, my splits are shit. You can see I'm 30 seconds behind my best run. The game has a lot of features, a lot of love put into it. I hope that it sells well enough that he'll be able to continue making games. I hope that I'll be able to help him, you know, in the future, maybe to test future patches or balance changes or content and stuff. If that does happen, I don't think he's going to give me an NDA, so I'll let you guys know. I will do more of these talks later on. Maybe I'll do this over one of the AI assist speedruns where it's a lot less stressful. Let me know if you guys would like to see that. Maybe I could do some overviews or retrospectives on some main beat 'em ups that I have access to. Let me know in the comments. Catch you guys later. Peace.